Alright, so we're off on another tractor hunt. This one should be interesting. It's a Simplicity, and if you've been around my channel, you know that I usually avoid Simplicities. But I make an exception for this one because it has plow gear with it. And around here, plow gear during the middle of winter is how you make a few extra bucks when you need to in the middle of winter. So even if I can't manage to get it running, as far as the mowing deck is concerned, at the very least I can sell it off for the plow gear later on. Alright, so let's go get a tractor in this absolutely adorable weather. So here we are on our first impressions. We've got the plow gear. In the back of the truck here, we got plow gear assembly that goes with it. Looks in pretty good condition. Then over here we got the Simplicity itself, and the deck up and down apparently was a little messed up, so I'm gonna have to see what's going on with that. 44-inch cut. It is a geared transmission. Not quite sure what this is. I wonder if this has anything in it or what it is. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, apparently it's where the tire chains were stored. Huh, cute. Well, I guess that's so that he wouldn't lose the tire chains. And yes, I do have the tire chains for it. And we have a Vanguard Simplicity Series, 15 horsepower. Model 280777. Now, the clear statement about this, holy cow, look at the nest in the top. Can you see that? So the clear statement about this was that he said, and I quote, "It runs, but only run it if you like one of those stupid diesels that the young kids like today." In other words, it smokes really bad. So we're gonna see what we can do here and see if it'll fire up. Hi, so we finally got this thing rolled into the shop. It's interesting because if you look at the dash, it's a 5-speed. And it is a fully geared transmission. Not quite, some sort of 801, I believe. So as you can see, the oil filter, air filter, is covered in oil for some reason. So it's got some sort of blow-by or kickback going up through. You can even actually see oil in the bottom of it. So the reason why I still got my tools out in order to take this apart is because, oh, this is a T20, Torx by the way, is that Briggs at some point decided they wanted to be brilliant and they wanted to make their engine look bigger, more masculine, more capable, but yet still be the same stupid 15 horsepower. And so Briggs came up with these expanded shrouds that they now put on some of them. Oh, that's awful pretty. Well, nobody home at least. And let's check the oil while we're here. Just a little below the fill. Not too bad. Better than I was expecting, honestly. But now we get to see the Briggs stupidity of make your 15 horsepower look bigger. Ta-da! So now I've got to go back through and I got to undo more of every single bolt that I just did. But the good thing is right now, if I pick this up, is that I can see the coil and I can see the spark plug wire and it looks as if it's fine. And I can see the kill wire right here, which looks as if it's in fine condition. We're still going to pull the top of this off anyway, just to be able to get to it. Because if for some reason the starter needs to be done, you're going to have to pull this off. And it's only 1, 2, 3, 4 more bolts to take it that far. Alright. What in the world is that screwdriver doing there? Why in the world would anybody drill a hole in the side of the dash? This is actually a really old school trick, and I've seen this on a few machines now. So you have a Phillips screwdriver going through the side into this really hard to reach Phillips here, so that on the other side you can put a wrench on this side. Because these start to get rusted, and they're meant from factory to be able to do with an L-shaped Phillips screwdriver. But once they start to rust up, they don't move at all. So what this lets you do is drive one right all the way through and be able to get a hold of it. Alright, so as it sits right now, we got a positive lead that's running around and going to the bottom of the carburetor. We've got our starter over here with the positive going to the terminal on the side of the starter. We've got our ground grounded to the side of the starter. And we've got some starter fluid. We're going to see if we can get it to kick over on some gas, because the pump that is in this needs to go and have a little bit of pressure built before it'll fire. And hopefully we'll get some kick out of it. So there we go. At this point, we've got a starter that works. We know we've got a coil that works. We know we've got a spark plug that works. We've obviously got some sort of carburetor thing going on here that is not kicking over. Either A, the pump isn't functional, or B, the carburetor is bad. And we've obviously got some oil or something coming out through the engine. Either we got some bad rings or we got something going on. So at this point, I think what we're going to end up doing is probably end up taking this hose entirely off. It's really old and it's decrepit. It's going to crack the moment I pull it. We're going to see if we can find another pump, and we're going to hook everything up with some fresh stuff and then go from there. Alright, so here's your little solenoid thing. This is some guy at a desk came up with this idea type trick. A lot of times you can cut these off as long as your needle valve is actually working correctly, but that's neither here nor there. We managed to tap this and get it to come loose, I think. Yep, there we go. So let's see what the inside looks like. Why is it not coming loose? That should just come off there. Oh, there we go. The gasket's all ick. So that actually is way nicer than I expected. I was expecting that to be entirely full of stuff at the bottom. There is a bunch of buildup you can see down in there. So I'm gonna bet that this port here is probably clogged. And let me show you what I discovered is actually one of the best cleaning tools for this. These are blowgun darts. My kids love to play with these blowguns, and they shoot the dartboard over there. And what I discovered is that these are the perfect size on most of these to go right down through the center, and they have a little thing you can put your finger on to push when they're all clogged up. And they also fit through this one right here. See, like that, in order to clear it. Kid's toy. Works amazing. You should try one. And you can also buy these by like 50 of them for, I think it's like $4 or $5. So if you break them, if you maul them, if you mess them up, who cares? I'll make sure to post a link in the description where I got these ones from. So I'm sorry for the lighting, but I did get this to actually kick over with one of the Chinese carbs on there. But then I thought maybe these were out of tune. But watch what happens when I go to turn this over, just kicking it over a little bit. See if you can see it. Can you see that smoke? That smoke tells me that I'm betting the head gasket in here is blown and it's going straight into the valve train in there. So just for the heck of it, we're going to pull this cap. We're going to unbolt these two bolts here if they will and pop them off. Unbolt these two if they will and pop them off. And we're going to see if that head gasket is blown. If it is, they're like 10, 15 bucks. We might throw one in just to see if we can get this thing to revive. Not sure at this point, but we'll try. Alright, so this was a very quick and dirty head removal because I don't have too much hope for this engine. But as you can see right here, you've got a chunk literally blowing out of the gasket into there. So, and you can see right here, there's a discoloration. I'll see if I can get this in there. See right there, that discoloration. So right now we're going to try and pop this off, and I bet we're going to be able to see a hole straight through there. That's where most of these tend to blow out. It's just a design flaw in how they're made. Boy, this one is on here really solid. There it goes. All right, so let's pull it up and let's turn it over. And yeah, right in there. You can see where the gasket gave out and started blowing through. And you can see right there where the gasket started to give. And it just was a matter of time before the rest of it went. So we'll try throwing a new gasket in here. I don't really have too much hope for this motor, but we'll see. If we turn this, yeah, it's actually pretty decent in there. It's not scoured, it's not too messed up. So we'll put a head gasket on just for the heck of it and see what it does. At this point, we've managed to get a new battery in. We've got these epoxied back into place so that you've got your running light assembly. It seems to actually work. I'm quite surprised. We've got a new carburetor on there. I'll make sure to put a link down in the description. As you can see, a brand spanking new filter and everything. Brand spanking new oil filter. We got the oil topped off. So we're starting to get in underneath here. We got our deck freed up, and the blades are actually in really good condition. I was quite surprised. There's the blades, and they're in nice condition. And in underneath here, we can see our 801 in the back, and we've got a drive belt that is anything but a happy topic. So I think we're going to see if we can replace that before we try and sell it. But otherwise than that, we're doing pretty good. I think she should clean up pretty well. Alright, so let's talk simplicity drive belt, shall we? This is an absolute big giant pain to do. Here we go. First, the centrifugal clutch down here. You have to take that centrifugal clutch off to be able to get to this. Then, down here, you're going to have to undo this retaining bracket to be able to undo that. Next, you're going to have to undo the steering tie rod in order to be able to get the belt from coming over the top of that. Next, as you come down through, you're then down in here going to have to install the 3-inch pulley that goes on that little nut there. Now, guaranteed it's probably exploded all over the place, and that's part of the reason why it is the belt currently looks half filleted. Then when it comes out of there, that's going to go into this idler on the flat side. Then it's going to come across to this V pulley, which you're also going to have to partially undo in order to get to the retainer, in order to go around the shifting linkage, which you're going to have to undo from the transmission also, in order to be able to get the belt routed, because the belt goes in and out and around it, in order to come back up through and install your belt. Yep, that's my last half an hour of my life. So we have a Simplicity Broadmoor here. It's a pretty nice little 5-speed machine. It's got a 15 horsepower Briggs and Stratton in it. It runs really good, actually. The shift on the go is fully functional. The deck, the 44-inch deck, I managed to go and get all the spindles and everything to come free. Got a brand new drive belt in it. Well, brand new to it. I only used it for a season last year on something else. And got it all up and running. Unfortunately, the headlights don't seem to turn on. I found a lot of charring in the wiring harness on the headlight side, so I'm pretty sure at some point they came loose and ended up on the muffler. The grille could use a repaint. You know, the whole tractor really should just be broken down and repainted, but as far as getting it up for sale, it should go fine. Now, the other thing is I also have the plow gear, which I'm going to put up for sale with it. I'm betting I'll probably be able to post the unit for around $350 would be my bet. It's a collector's item. The problem is it's getting harder to find parts unless you're on partstree.com or someplace like that. The 801s are hard to go and find parts for sometimes. So I'll just advertise it as a collector's or a father and son restore. Let somebody get a hold of it that wants to go and use it just because it's old, and then we'll call it good. We ended up putting a nice Duralast 310 in there. The Vanguard cleaned up nice. Brand new oil filter, brand new fuel filter, brand new carburetor. I'll post a link for the carburetor with the air filter kit and the Briggs and Stratton oil filter. So there we go. Everything's going great. Another one revived, another one up for sale.